Let's do this. This house is kind of like a scavenger hunt. You'll walk around and you'll find random pictures of me just sitting around. So there's one. So, 안녕하세요. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be giving you a house tour of a traditional Korean apartment. Now I know there's a lot of videos about people living in Seoul or in Korea out there, but I wanted to do this house tour particularly because I don't think there's a lot of videos showing a house that belongs to a Korean family. This apartment has been in my family for over 30 years. My dad and my uncle grew up here and it belongs to my grandmother, and so it holds a lot of memories for our family. And it's kind of amazing how even this neighborhood outside hasn't really changed at all. Just looking around right now, it looks almost exactly the same as the pictures of when I was a kid coming to this house to like do 세뱃절 to my grandparents, or for like Chuseok or Seol. So don't mind me if I get a little bit sentimental, if I start sharing a bunch of like random memories I have from childhood, or even like my dad or uncle's memories. But without further ado, let us begin. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is the living room, and it's kind of like a middle ground slash connecting point to all the other rooms, which is pretty common. You'll come in through this main front door, and then you'll have like 2 bedrooms on one side and maybe like a bathroom like this one. And then you'll go straight into the living room. And this is a really common way that Korean apartments are structured, especially for ones with 4 bedrooms like this one. And of course, we have to have our Korean hanja calligraphy, painting, something, whatever this is. I can't read any of it. And then we have more Korean, I almost said hieroglyphics. Calligraphy, not hieroglyphics. What am I saying? More hanja calligraphy. This has been on my wall for I don't even know how long. So it's just kind of like always the first thing that I see. Now a lot of more modern homes would have like replaced this with, I don't know, like a nice painting. But tradition is a big thing in our family. So the apartment has actually gone through a lot of cleanups and renovation and changes. But the main infrastructure and the interior is kind of the same. Like we've had these shelves and this TV stand, these old school speakers. Ooh, very old school. We've had these for like ages, and we've had this sort of like reddish brick colored furniture and these couches, which are like very, very old. It's not very comfortable, kind of leather. And then we have this set of drawers, which contains honestly like a lot of random things. Like I'm pretty sure this top one is like towels, more hieroglyphics, I mean calligraphy. We had an obsession with rocks, and I don't really know why. And then a bunch of these random European statues. This is definitely like a very old school Korean decoration style. So you can kind of tell this belongs to a grandma. And then we have our handy dandy air conditioner. So air conditioners or aircon are generally like a separate structure like this, generally kind of tall and sits in a little corner, and is only used in the very heat of summer, like July, August, when it becomes absolutely unbearable because ACs are very expensive. And then we have the laundry hanging rack, which is folded up right now, but if I were to do my laundry, then I would be using it out here because we don't have a dryer. And yes, a dryer is something that I have been wanting for a really long time in this house because it's really tedious to hang laundry every time. But it's actually very common in Korea. Sometimes people would hang their laundry on the balcony. Balconies are also a very typical thing in Korean apartments. We have, again, more stone pots. This whole area is to be like completely clogged with luggage and boxes of things no one knew belonged to who. Recently we cleaned it all up, and so this closet is completely clean. You have these random plants that no one has kept alive. And then you get a nice little view of our fellow apartments. And this is kind of like what you can expect a suburb in Korea to look like. Where I live is still in Seoul. It's technically not really a suburb, but it is a residential area, and so you'll see a lot of these identical looking apartments, kind of similar to the way you see identical houses in like an American suburb. From the window you can see the tennis courts where sometimes old harabajis will play tennis. Honestly, our balcony is basically just used as like storage now. Sometimes like people would use balconies to like smoke, or they will use the balcony to like clean things. Oh, and I don't know why you can always hear airplanes flying over our apartment. We're not close to the airport at all, so I don't know why it's so loud. And then, oh, hello. We're going to, before we go to the kitchen, our little cleaning robot. I have not named this guy, but he turns on like this. Come on, turn on. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. Oh, I have to unplug it. Okay. Ah, there we go. So really funny story. When I was teaching my kids in kindergarten, we were learning about the vacuum cleaner, like how to say it in English. So I asked the kids, what do you use to clean your house? One of the kids was like, we have a cleaning robot. These cleaning robots are very common and very popular in Korea right now. Clearly, as you can see, Koreans like to keep their floors pristine. My family actually gets mad at me if I don't clean the floors like every week because it is like this fake wooden material that's not a carpet, so you can see any kind of hairs. So cleaning robot comes in very handy. We're not gonna use him right now, so I'm gonna turn him off. No, I want to turn it off. Turn it off. Okay. Anyways, moving on to the kitchen. As we travel, I realized there's gonna be a lot of remnants, and what I mean by that is I wanted to kind of leave it as everyday and natural looking as possible. This is the general cleanliness of my dining table. Actually, it's generally messier than this. I did try to clean it a little bit, but I wanted to leave out some of the things that I use every day because clearly we don't have 4 people living in this house, so I occupy this entire space myself every morning. This is where I would drink my coffee and eat my breakfast. This is where I would do my morning devos. All these highlighters that I clearly need. These are the remnants of my coffee, my poor single little avocado, vitamins, tissues. This tissue box is actually from a Coupang brand, which is like the Korean Amazon. And we have this leftover thing of butter. It's not really common in Korea to have like butter out, but there you go. And then, so we have this glass case that literally just has a bunch of random things like decorations, cups, ducks, more cups, really old vases. There used to be a lot more junk, but we actually managed to clean up a lot of them recently. Oh, and there's a little baby picture of me. So fun fact, this house is kind of like a scavenger hunt. You'll walk around and you'll find random pictures of me just sitting around. So there's one. And I happen to just be sharing the same shelf as our liquor cabinet. Then we have our, Kimchi Fridge. The Kimchi Fridge, as you can probably guess from the name, holds kimchi. But right now, there's not much in there because... Oh! I found my gochujang. I was looking for this. Oh, gochujang, hello, I needed you. I wanted to make tteokbokki and I couldn't find gochujang. You were right here, hiding in our kimchi fridge. Why would you put gochujang in a kimchi fridge? I put my eggs in here because there were too many eggs to fit inside my actual fridge, which is here. And I wanted to show you guys if there's anything interesting, but honestly my fridge is pretty empty right now. There's a bunch of like Korean side dishes, things that I really need to eat soon. This container that I use for eggs. The freezer is also very empty, not very interesting. And then we have a bunch of these like delivery cards. All of these are magnetic. This is from Amsterdam. Everything else is like delivery for naengmyeon, delivery for all the local chicken places, like every single chicken place that's probably outside on the street. And then like Korean, fast food, things like that, which really shows how long we've lived here because we probably called all of these businesses at least one point in our lives. And also there's like a local jjajangmyeon place that we always call from, so they know our name and they just like recognize us by our phone number. They're like, oh yeah, this apartment number. And like, yeah, it's kind of nice to have that feeling of locality, like being friendly with all the community and the neighbors. I don't really talk to my neighbors though. That's not as common in Korean apartments. Anyways, this is our kitchen. We have our, of course, rice cooker. Good old Cuckoo. Yes, Cuckoo is a very popular Korean rice cooker brand. Oh, and then before we move into the kitchen, I'll quickly show you my laundry balcony. And yes, this is literally just a balcony room dedicated towards laundry. The hose is sitting here right now because we've actually been leaking, and it's been leaking to our downstairs neighbor, and there were some complaints about that. And obviously this is just like a typical Korean laundry machine. There's not much special about that. That is also another balcony room, but there's actually nothing in there. One thing is that we have particular locally sanctioned, I guess, garbage bags, and they have like all the addresses of the places where they pick up trash, and so you have to put regular garbage in this bag before you throw it out, or else. And that's not including recycling, which is a whole other story. And then we have our kitchen. We're going to not look at the dishes in the sink. There's gonna be a lot of that. The don't look section. Don't look! A lot of older Korean apartments, you'll have to like turn on the gas like this. It tells you how many minutes the gas will be on for. Like if you don't keep the fire burning automatically, like it'll just shut off by itself. Gas leaks and accidents from gas leaks leading to death were very common in Korea. So people say be very careful about turning on and off the gas in your apartment. Typical ventilator, all of our shelves. So we keep our trash in here, but it's not actually as common in Korean apartments to keep trash inside or underneath the sink as most American kitchens do. This is probably the section of the kitchen that I use the most. I use it every morning. This espresso machine is new. We did not have this. My stepmom decided to buy it for our home and it's been very nice. It is a bit of a hassle to use it every day, so generally I just stick to my pour over, my lovely little water kettle that's a gooseneck. It's like that one brand that I can't think of right now, but it was really cheap. I bought it in Korea, so obviously. There's a cheap option for everything, and then our little grinder, or my little grinder for my coffee beans, which was also quite cheap. And then we have, ooh, my favorite part of the kitchen, the air fryer. Now let me tell you, you will not survive in a Korean kitchen without an air fryer. An air fryer is amazing. It is a blessing from God. Thank you, Lord. You just open it like this, and you can toast bread in it, toast bagels in it. You can reheat pizza or tonkatsu without it getting soggy. Basically, the point of it is to either cook things or reheat things in a way that'll keep it crisp without using any oil. All I need to do is throw it in, change the heat, and then the timer, and then it'll automatically cook. Frozen dumplings, frozen pizza, fries, or really anything. There's very few things you cannot put inside the air fryer. And then we have my selection of coffees and teas, and of course we have our classic box of Korean mixed coffees, McShip, very popular. And then now we will move on to the ooh, which room shall we go to next? So I think we'll go into the dressing room. And beware, again, this is another one of those, oh, don't look over here. So we have very old, what is this called? I don't even know what this is called, oh my gosh. Oh, it's a turntable, yes, sorry, I couldn't see this. Yes, it is a turntable, but it has all these complicated cassette players as well attached to it. These are all of our family's like CDs, and these include not just music but like video games. I'm pretty sure there are some that I used to play. And this room has actually been used for storage pretty much forever. It has like my dad's old records up there, it has all of our books, more photos, more books. These are my books actually. Look at all of these books. Oh my goodness, I love this series. This is so good. And this series, I was very into those super long tween series back then. Oh my goodness, these are some of my favorites. And of course, we can't forget our beautiful Lemony Snicket. And then we have my Twilight phase. Yes, I did read all 4 books. I was in 7th grade, or grade 7, I should say. Oh, and then there's more photos. Photo of me, baby me, 4-year-old me, and more me. Being the only child and being the oldest grandchild will get you a lot of photos. And this is a photo of me from my elementary school in Canada. I'm somewhere. Ooh. Yeah, you can't see that. And then we have some like class photos. Oh, there's me. There's me again. Oh, me. Lots and lots of photos. How can I forget my Harry Potter collection? And this one part that sadly got torn by my cat. There's lots of memories here too. A lot of these Korean books, some of them are like travel books. They were read probably by my dad. We're not gonna look on the other side of the room. Okay, I'll show you a little bit. So that is the closet where we keep like a lot of our old family clothes. This is the more, oh, me again. This is the more recent clothing rack that my stepmom bought for us to share. To be honest, I have so many clothes that won't fit on here, mainly because like I don't want to keep them. But yeah, these are just some of the clothes that I wear on a regular basis. So this has become like a dressing room slash library, which is very odd. In a way, it kind of suits me because I love clothes and I love books. And again, I say this as the only person who's living here currently, so I have a lot of freedom to use this house in ways that I would like. We have, oh, this jar is so old. A lot of old video sets, woohoo! And we have collections of old cameras that my uncle probably used because he was the photographer. We have our Discman, woo! And more cameras, oh, I do remember this camera. I think I actually used this. We actually used to keep a lot of like family photos on CDs like this. I want to show you photo albums, but I don't know how many of them we have here. I think a lot of them went to my uncle's house. This is actually my grandmother's room, and I just wanted to quickly show you the decorations. This sort of fold-out panel thing like this would be kind of like, you know, those like old-fashioned, and you see them in like French movies. Well, we have them in Korea too, and they have again a bunch of hanja and paintings on them. And then we have another rock turtle. Oh, and then there's more photos of me and this box of rice. I don't know why this is here. Oh, that's heavy. Why is there rice? These dressers are, again, very ornate, very old-fashioned, and there's makeup and stuff in here that's like really ancient, like lipsticks that are from like the 90s, probably. Another photo of me. That is pretty much the majority of my house, and any parts that might feel a little more different, a little more foreign, more interesting. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot my bedroom. I'm not gonna do a full room tour right now because I'm actually trying to get my room kind of redecorated, but as of now, this is what I have. Here's a bed, and as you can see, remnants of my life. All of my little plushies over here. We've got our 3 cacao friends. We've got Ryan, Peach, and Chunshik, my new favorite. This bedding is new. I've been trying to make my space a little more homely. Like this keyboard I got very recently. These are like cord socks. They call them cord socks, but they're kind of just like fabric covers for my cord so they don't look super ugly. This lovely Bluetooth audio speaker slash clock slash like a lot of things, honestly. You can create like pixel art. It has an alarm. Thank you to Divoom for sending me this lovely Bluetooth speaker. This clock is totally wrong. I need to fix it. But it comes with these like retro gamer keyboard things too, so it does really feel like analog and very, very vintage. And then we have this fake plant which my friend gave me before she left. A big whole mess over here which I'm not going to touch because it is too much for one video. And my closet, which is actually quite empty because a lot of my clothes are in the other room, so there's not much to see in here. Actually, I don't spend that much time in my room, especially during the day. I do have my graduation certificate, more books. Oh, and these are some of the books that I read recently, like books I collected from college. You have more photos, of course. Can't get enough of the photos. This mini photo shoot that my friend actually did for me before I left, and she made this for me. It was really nice. It's just like some very good memories. Very appropriate plaque that my friend got me. And then a collection of different magazines and literary journals that I was part of in college. I think that's pretty much everything. Oh, and then the bathroom. Oh, hello, you can see me. So this is our bathroom, and as you can see, it's quite small. It's not the only bathroom in the house, but it's the one that I use. We have a towel rack here. So the shower, which is very typical of Korean bathrooms. So the floor is just connected directly to out here, and so the water will just go through that drainage. And this is, again, very common for like older Korean apartments. And we have our shower head, moving shower head, obviously, because we love those. In Korea, we love our flexibility as we shower. So some older Korean apartments won't have a bathtub. They'll just have like a shower like this. But we actually do have a bathtub in my grandmother's bathroom where I used to take baths when I was a kid. I guess the last thing is this head statue mask thing and the front door. Pretty much every Korean apartment, modern or old, has these security locks like this that doesn't have a key. It just has like a passcode thing out on the front. And it'll just lock by itself. So that is the end of the house tour. So thank you again for watching. I hope this was enjoyable for you. Maybe there's something new you learned about Korean apartments that you didn't know before. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.